This woman lives a quiet life, running a small noodle shop in her hometown. But her peaceful world is shattered when she's diagnosed with a heartbreaking illness. One day, while standing outside a convenience store with her daughter, a stranger confronts her, accusing her of kidnapping the child. The situation quickly escalates, landing them in a police station. What happens when everything she thought she knew begins to unravel? Mi-yeon and her son, Ki-hoon, run a small noodle shop. Their days are quiet and simple, filled with love and hard work. Mi-yeon's daughter, Ji-eun, lives a very different life. She's an idle trainee, spending each day in exhausting practice, chasing her dream. One day, Mi-yeon and Ki-hoon go to see Ji-eun at the training center, hoping to cheer her on. When Ki-hoon spots her, he happily calls out her name. But Ji-eun turns, looks at them briefly, and walks away without a word. Her coldness stings. Mi-yeon stands frozen in place, heart aching. Ki-hoon gently says maybe Ji-eun didn't see them, but deep down, they both know she did. Later, some of the other trainees ask Ji-eun who the mother and son were. They joke that it's strange to have fans like that. Ji-eun brushes it off, pretending not to care. On the way home, Mi-yeon and Ki-hoon listen to Ji-eun's new song in the car. Her voice fills the silence, and despite what happened, both mother and son smile with pride. She sings beautifully. Back home, Mi-yeon cooks a simple breakfast and gets ready to leave for work. Ki-hoon heads to the market to buy ingredients for their shop. The two live simply, but they have each other, and that means everything. Meanwhile, at the studio, Ji-eun tells her manager she wants to be the center and release her solo album. But her manager doesn't take her seriously. Instead, she warns Ji-eun to stay away from scandals. After all, a lot of money has been invested in her group. A memory flashes in Ji-eun's mind. The day she decided to become an idol, her mother had doubts and asked her to think it through. They argued. When her father came home and saw Ji-eun yelling at her mother, he became furious. He slapped Ji-eun when she refused to say sorry. But Ji-eun didn't feel sorry. Instead, she shouted at them to leave her alone. She wanted her own life. She stormed out. Her father followed, trying to stop her. That's when the accident happened. A speeding truck. One terrible moment, and he was gone. That memory never left her. Back at the restaurant, a woman named Jang Mi visits. She's an artist and a friend of Ki-hoon. She starts taking pictures of Mi-yeon for an upcoming art exhibition. As they talk, another woman appears, asking Mi-yeon for 10,000 won for a sports day event. But Mi-yeon is confused. This is the first time she's heard of it, even though the lady mentions that she told Mi-yeon about it previously. Later, Jang Mi quietly asks Ki-hoon about the sports day. He says he heard about it from his mom and even bought her new clothes for it. Jang Mi finds this strange, but says nothing. That evening, Mi-yeon grills mackerel, Ji-eun's favorite dish. The smell brings back an old memory. Mi-yeon remembers chiding her and telling her to wait for her brother before eating. At the time, it seemed like such a small thing. But to Ji-eun, it felt like her parents always loved Ki-hoon more. At the studio, tension builds. Ji-eun gets into a heated argument with another idol who mocks her dream of becoming the center. Ji-eun fires back, telling her to become a better dancer before coming at her. Back home, Mi-yeon accidentally drops a plate. The sharp sound echoes through the kitchen. Ki-hoon rushes over to help, kneeling beside her as they pick up the pieces. She apologizes for the mess and says she needs to make dinner. Ki-hoon pauses, confused. They already had grilled mackerel earlier. Mi-yeon glances at the messy pots and suddenly realizes she had forgotten. The next day, Ki-hoon visits Dr. Baek, an old friend and the father of Jang Mi. The doctor teases him, asking if he's there to ask for permission to date his daughter. Ki-hoon quickly laughs it off. They're just friends. But then his face turns serious. He quietly brings up his real concern, his mother's growing forgetfulness. Dr. Baek listens, but dismisses it lightly, saying it's nothing to worry about as long as she isn't having headaches. That evening, Ki-hoon gently asks his mom if her head ever hurts. She replies cheerfully that she's fine. He then hands her a pink vest he bought, something simple, but warm. Even though Mi-yeon nags him for spending money, she tries on the vest happily. It's clear she's touched. The next day, mother and son attend the local sports day. They play games, and one of them is modeled after the popular red light green light. Mi-yeon and Ki-hoon laugh and cheer, enjoying every moment. For a while, everything feels just right. But then, Mi-yeon excuses herself to go to the restroom. A sharp headache hits her. As a staff member approaches, Mi-yeon stares, confused. She doesn't recognize her. Everything feels distant and strange as she runs off. At the hospital, the doctor's words shake Ki-hoon. It's Alzheimer's, a disease that slowly erases memory, judgment and even family. Ki-hoon does not break the news to Mi-yeon as he does not want her to overthink. He forces a smile as he walks to the stairwell and quietly breaks down. His heart is heavy with fear. He doesn't want his mom to worry, so he cries alone. Meanwhile, Ji-eun is in the middle of a photo shoot when her phone rings. It's Ki-hoon. Annoyed by the interruption, she answers coldly. He tells her their mom is unwell. She sighs, tells him to take her to the hospital, and tries to hang up. But then he says it, Alzheimer's. The word lingers in the silence. Ji-eun says nothing. Mi-yeon's condition worsens. Once busy noodle shop now sits quiet, its doors temporarily closed. At home, Ki-hoon does everything he can to help his mother. He sticks post-it notes all around the house, reminders for brushing teeth and eating meals. His mom no longer recognizes him on some days, but he treats her with care and love. At the hospital, Dr. Beck tells Ki-hoon that Mi-yeon is physically fine, but mentally, she's slipping away. Ki-hoon confesses that she often runs out of the house, and worse, sometimes she forgets who he is. Dr. Beck gently explains, it doesn't happen all at once. Her memories will fade gradually. Ki-hoon learns that Mi-yeon has started calling herself Audrey, after her favorite actress. Her real name is fading too. That night, Mi-yeon curls up on the floor beside the fridge. She prefers sleeping here because the sound of the fridge reminds her of her husband's snores. Ki-hoon gently shows her a photo of their family. This is Dad, he says softly. Mi-yeon stares, confused. Where is he now? She asks. Ki-hoon swallows hard. He's gone far away. Meanwhile, at the idol studio, Ji-eun is in the middle of a meeting when she suddenly gets a nosebleed. Her assistant rushes to her side, whispering that she's pushing too hard. But Ji-eun brushes it off. The manager warns all the girls, if you can't stay healthy, you'll be replaced. This industry doesn't wait. That night, chaos strikes again. Mi-yeon disappears. Ki-hoon panics and runs into the street to search. Deok-so, the kind vegetable seller, joins him. Meanwhile, Mi-yeon had seen a little girl and mistook her for Ji-eun. In a daze, she tried to take the child away. The mother runs after her, and they ended up at the police station. The girl's father is furious. A crazy woman tried to kidnap my daughter, he yells. Just then, Ki-hoon bursts in. He bows deeply, apologizing again and again. She's sick, he pleads. Please understand. But the father won't budge. His harsh words, people like her shouldn't be outside, push Ki-hoon over the edge. He lashes out, and a fight breaks out. Thankfully, the girl's mother decides not to press charges. Outside, Deok-so tells Ki-hoon, maybe it's time you called Ji-eun, he says, not knowing Ki-hoon has already tried, many times over the past year, with no answer. That night, Ki-hoon is forced to do the one thing he never imagined. He locks Mi-yeon inside her room. She cries and begs to be let out, her voice trembling. Please, I'm scared, she whispers. Ki-hoon stands outside with tears streaming down his face. I'm sorry, Mom, he says under his breath. I don't know what else to do. The next day, Deok-so calls Ji-eun and tells her everything that happened the night before. She rushes back home. At the noodle restaurant, Jang-mi tells Ki-hoon that Ji-eun has came home and he rushes back. Inside the house, Ji-eun has broken the lock and finds Mi-yeon hiding inside the wardrobe, trembling like a child. Ji-eun pulls her out and, without a second thought, says she's taking their mother to a nursing home. Ki-hoon tries to explain that he wants to take care of Mi-yeon at home, for as long as he can. But Ji-eun snaps, calling him a hypocrite. Stop pretending like you're a saint. Jang-mi, unable to hold it in anymore, shouts back at Ji-eun. You abandoned your family for fame. How dare you come back and act like this? But Ki-hoon gently stops her. It's not all her fault, he says, defending Ji-eun. Ki-hoon pulls Ji-eun aside and pleads, just give me some time. I'm not ready to let her go. But Ji-eun's voice turns cold. You're not even her real son. The truth finally comes out. Ki-hoon is not Mi-yeon's biological son. His own parents died when he was little, and Mi-yeon, a close friend of his family, couldn't bear to see him grow up alone. She adopted him and raised him as her own. Shaken, Ki-hoon runs after Ji-eun, asking her again, please, just a little longer. Ji-eun sighs and tells him, fine, I'll come back in a week. But before either of them can say more, Mi-yeon rushes out and tells them that she wants to go to the nursing home. It is better this way. But she asks Ji-eun to stay the night with her. That evening, the three of them sit down together for dinner, something they haven't done in years. For a brief moment, they're just a family again. Later, her manager calls, questioning why she missed practice. But Ji-eun tells her that she needs a day off, and this time, she finally chose her mom. The next morning, Mi-yeon refuses to wash her face. Ki-hoon gently bribes her with the promise of ice cream. Ji-eun helps dress her, brushes her hair, and takes her out. They sit together in the park, eating soft serve under the sunshine. Suddenly, Ji-eun starts talking, her words raw and heavy. "I miss you, Mom. I've been chasing this dream for so long, and I thought it would make me happy. But it's hard, and I couldn't tell anyone." Her voice shakes. "I still can't forgive myself for Dad's accident." Mi-yeon doesn't recognize Ji-eun or her words, but smiles sweetly, calling her kind for buying ice cream. Ji-eun smiles, realizing her mother's mind is now like a child's. Later that week, when Mi-yeon has one of her clearer moments, she tells Jang-mi, "I want to take a pretty picture before I forget everything." Jang-mi helps her take the photo, capturing a rare smile while she's still lucid. Meanwhile, Ji-eun is preparing for her long-awaited solo debut. Her manager listens to her new song and nods with approval. "It's beautiful," she says. "We'll release it as your solo album." But as Ji-eun turns to leave, she coughs, and blood stains her hand. She collapses on the studio floor. That night, Ki-hoon takes his mom out for a quiet walk. Mi-yeon sits with him and gently tells him, "Let's close the restaurant. You should live your life and let me go to the nursing home." Ki-hoon looks away, not ready to agree. But she continues, her voice trembling, "You gave up college to help me. I never said it, but I've always felt sorry for holding you back. It's time to move forward." Ki-hoon's eyes fill with tears. "When you said you wanted to be my mom, that was the happiest day of my life," he says. Mi-yeon gently places her hand on his cheek, and they hold each other close. Later, Ki-hoon receives devastating news. Ji-eun has collapsed. He rushes to the hospital. The doctor tells him more tests are needed, but they suspect it might be leukemia. Ki-hoon stands frozen, his world crumbling again. Why do bad things keep happening to the people he loves? He offers to donate his bone marrow, but because he's not blood-related, he's not a match. Helpless, he steps outside and calls Jang-mi, asking her to watch over his mom while he stays by Ji-eun's side. But Mi-yeon overhears the call. Her eyes widen with sudden clarity. "Take me to see Ji-eun," she says firmly. "I need to see my daughter." At the hospital, Ki-hoon sits by Ji-eun's bed. He softly tells her, "Mom misses you so much. And I'm sorry, for being the reason you had to share their love." Ji-eun listens, her eyes glassy but silent. Back at home, Jang-mi is cooking when she realizes Mi-yeon is missing. She panics and calls Deok-so. The two search the streets. Somewhere along the roadside, Mi-yeon walks alone, drenched, muttering her daughter's name to herself countless times, afraid the memory will slip away again. Finally, Deok-so and Jang-mi spots her and pulls over. Mi-yeon insists on visiting Ji-eun. When Mi-yeon enters the room, they hug one another tightly. In that moment, all the pain, all the misunderstandings, they melt away in a flood of tears. Mi-yeon insists on being the donor for Ji-eun's transplant. Even though her mind isn't what it used to be, she clings to this one clear thought: she wants to save her daughter. But now, even something as simple as signing her name feels impossible. Still, she pushes through, trying her best. On the day of the surgery, Mi-yeon holds her daughter's hand tightly. "Don't be afraid," she says with a brave smile as both of them are wheeled into the operating room. The transplant is a success. In the aftermath, Ki-hoon and Ji-eun take turns to care for Mi-yeon. But her memories are mostly gone now. One afternoon, Ki-hoon sits beside her and asks, "Can I still be your son?" Mi-yeon smiles and nods. Ji-eun joins them. The three sit together in a warm embrace, no longer defined by blood or memory, but by something deeper. Alzheimer's may steal names, faces, and years, but it cannot take love. Love stays, quiet, steady, and forever.